Yes. All right. What's happening, crew? Can we hear me? Are we good? There we go. Now we're going. Now we're rocking. Yeah. Yeah. Home studio today. Just got out of the pool. Can everybody hear me? Give me the yeah. Salute to you. Salute. Bobby, you got me, of course. Loud and clear. How you feeling today, Bobby? You good? Back? Is that a new thing or what? Mm-hmm. Yes, we are on the radio. We're only going to do 45 minutes today. We're going to do a long monologue and we're going to go 45 minutes on this live stream. I've got my tequila commissario hat. Look at me promoting that. Okay. It's just loud. I can barely hear. Yeah, I'm in the home studio today because my folks just left. So let's get some content going here, Bobby. Yes, how we all doing today, everybody? What do you want to hit on today? What are you excited about Raider OTAs, or could you not? You're just not focused. What do you want to get into today? I got a lot to get to. Salute, everybody. Salute. If you're in there, hit subscribe and like. We would appreciate that. I'm going to hit like with subscribe. We got 8 people in there. If you could all hit the like, we'd appreciate that. Whiskey Stadium. We're calling that bar now Whiskey Stadium. That's interesting. Bobby, weren't you going to a show this weekend? You were thinking of going to something? Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr is playing where? The Venetian. Yeah. All right, let's do this, everybody. Let's get in here. What's happening? Michael, the Nation Nightmare. Everybody who's in there, appreciate it. I'm at the home studio today, so we are limited with what we can do audio-wise. So I'm going to go about 45 minutes of just me, and we'll see what happens after that. What's happening? Out of the gate, JT from the home studio today. I got my home studio back. My mom and dad left on the red eye last night, and I'm back in my studio as we open up the show on the flagship of the Silver and Black. This is Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m. and on YouTube Live as we have some people in there already as we're streaming. We stream before the show begins. We try to get a couple of people in there, get some topics going, talk about what we're going to get into. Only way you could do that is if you join us on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. Just subscribe. It's free. You're in the middle of my guest bedroom at my house where my studio is. Got a couple of studios in the house here, but this is the one with the brick backdrop. Again, his mom and dad made it home safe. And my dad's nuts, man. He took the red eye last night at 86 years old. The red eye from Las Vegas at 11:56 p.m. and landed at JFK in New York and is up in New Paltz, New York now, home with my mom, safe and sound. They were here for 11 days, and we had kind of like a working vacation. I was here pretty much all the shows here, but I was working around my folks, who I'm very lucky to still have with me here and hopefully for a long time to come. So we got our home back in a good way. We miss our folks, and now I'm working from home today as we jump in. Busy weekend. I'm on Mad Dog Sports Radio Saturday, Sunday. So I'm working 7 days this week, but I don't put out oil fires. I'm not a cop. I'm not in the military. I just talk sports. It's fairly fun most of the time, and we want to talk to you throughout the Raider Nation at 702-365-9200. Anything that you want to talk about, I'm prepared to talk about. Many radio hosts can't say that anymore. They don't watch sports. They don't watch soccer. They don't watch NASCAR. They don't watch baseball. They just specialize in LeBron James. They specialize in LeBron James and football. I am a full-service sports talk radio host. Whatever you'd like to debate, discuss, or talk about, if you want to get through, I am prepared and ready to go with you as we open up the show. Bill Williamson. I'm only going to do about 45 minutes on YouTube here. Don't be afraid. It'll be 45 minutes of me and you, and then we'll jump into some interviews. Bill Williamson, the longest tenured Raider insider, is going to join us at 12:45 Pacific, on maybe a couple of holes in that Raider roster. He's got an interesting column out on the priorities of what the Raiders need to fill. I believe, I don't know this, I just have opinions. I don't believe that Tom Telesco's done. I think the Raiders are still in the market for a right tackle, even though I just hung out with Thayer Munford, and he educated me on his passion and his ability to hold down that position. I like Thayer Munford a lot, and I like him a lot more after I was with him at a golf tournament and talked to him, and he showed me the passion that he has for his job and his willingness to do everything to keep that job. But I think the Raiders are still in the market for some depth at right tackle. The Raiders got to figure out this cornerback position. Let's go. Stephon Gilmore's out there. I do him on a one-year deal. I think a one-year deal with Stephon Gilmore would be fine by me, or some of the other cornerbacks that are there. I have no problem on anybody coming in and playing on a one-year deal who's a veteran. I want to win games this year. The plan is to win games for decades to come. Build a team through the draft, dabble in free agency, have a couple of stars like Devontae and Mad Max Crosby. But Max and Devontae want to win now. So if you can get Stephon Gilmore to play one more year on a one-year deal on a bargain price for the Las Vegas Raiders where there's no state taxes in this market, and he wants to do it, you better believe I'm all for that. And what are we going to do about the running back position? Is that's the focus of the monologue, thanks to Ed Graney, who I saw in the building the other day. And he wrote a great column on what the Raiders are doing at running back, as we're brought to you by PTs. I want to salute PTs, my friends at PTs. You know, they've been fueling the monologue for a long time on this show, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. That's the best happy hour in town. There's not a better happy hour in town. Half-price drinks, discounts on food. They give you 2 a day, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. There's close to 70 taverns now, 70. And that's why they're the proud partner. And I let them go first because they give me this radio show every day. So Ed Graney wrote a really good column in the Review Journal on the Raiders running back must prove he deserves the top role. So as we look at Zamir White, the grind's a lot tougher, as Graney writes. He's the man now, at least to start things with the organized team activities continuing this week. The one who will be given the chance to replace Josh Jacobs on a full-time basis. I'm good with this. I love Zeus. I think he's a monster. I think he is oversized, big, in tremendous shape, young on a rookie contract. I mean, I couldn't believe, the money that he doesn't cost this organization. And that could change down the road if he plays at a higher level. Last year, 104 carries, 451, 1 touchdown. He's on a rookie contract. The third-year back will cost only $1.2 million against the salary cap this year. It's a big-time value if he performs to the best of his ability. I could go as far to say is if Zamir White, a great back out of Georgia, can secure this starting position and have a good year. What's a good year in the NFL? Let me throw that topic out to the Raider Nation. Does anybody know what a good year is anymore for an NFL running back? I mean, don't tell me 100 yards is great. I grew up in the era of Eric Dickerson and Tony Dorsett and Franco Harris and Marcus Allen. Don't tell me that 100 yards is elite. Stop that. But now it is. The league thinks if you can average 100 yards a game, that's pretty amazing, especially in a pass-happy league, a video game league where they go no huddle. Almost every team does, and the running back has been devalued. So what's a good year for you average per game? Is it 70 yards? For me, it's ball control, not fumbling, and getting touchdowns. That's important. If you can pick up 3rd and 1 and keep Davante Adams on the field, along with Michael Mayer, along with Brock Bowers, along with Trey Tucker, and get me a fresh set of downs. Did you see what happened last year? We couldn't get a fresh set of downs. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. I mean, we need to stay on the field. That is the goal of Zeus, Zamir White. Stay on the bleeping field. Pick up 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. Because at 3rd and 3, if you put Aiden O'Connell in the shotgun, it's really 3rd and 8. Because he's 5 yards deeper in the shotgun. And we got to get the ball if he's going to pass on 3rd and 3. We got to get it 10 yards down the field because he's in the shotgun. I want a running back who can run over people and pick up a first down. That's why I love Brock Bowers. I love Brock Bowers because you can check down to him. On 3rd and 3, you can throw him the ball at the line of scrimmage and he can fall forward for 4 yards. Same with Big Michael Mayer. But this running back by committee, it better not be a running back by committee. As I've said often, it was clipped on this show. If Zamir White took his shirt off with all 32 running backs in a room, he would be the biggest guy. He looks like Micah Parsons. He looks like a outside linebacker. This guy is a freak. He's a monster. He has got to have a big year now. There's been rookies in this league who have come in and dominated. Marshall Faulk. I'm not saying he's Marshall Faulk, but I saw Marshall Faulk play at San Diego State. He was one of the greatest backs I've ever seen in college. Zamir White played at Georgia. He had some of the greatest teammates and the greatest players to ever play in this league, including Brock Bowers. He can play. And then you have Alexander Madison, who was a starting running back from Minnesota. I would think he has a chip on his shoulder and like to be a starter and like to play more than Zeus. So that is a camp battle that I think Zamir White has the advantage. I mean, we all believe, I think Antonio Pierce said it. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but, Aiden O'Connell will get the first snaps in camp. That doesn't mean he's going to be the starter, but I think he has the lead with the loyalty of Antonio Pierce to let him play quarterback and at least have the opportunity to lose that job to Gardner Minshew. And I don't know who's going to win the job at quarterback. By the way, stop asking me. Get out of my chat, please. Stop asking me who's going to be the quarterback in May. Are you out of your minds? You think I'm going to go on Raiders radio and tell you who I think is going to be the starting running back or the starting quarterback? Running back, it's easy for me. Zeus needs to be it. We got rid of Josh Jacobs. And I thought Josh Jacobs could have stayed. I really do. But I don't get involved with Josh's money. I don't like the contract that he signed in Green Bay. It's really a one-year deal. I think if he wanted to play for a certain amount of money, he could have stayed with the Raiders, and then we wouldn't be talking about Zamir White. Zamir White would once again be a backup to Josh Jacobs. Now it's go time. So as Ed Graney wrote in his column, which is really good in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, he got a taste of being a starting running back in the NFL last season when the injured Jacobs missed the Raiders' final 4 games. White showed more than a few flashes. He became the first running back in Raiders history to run for more than 100 yards in 2 of his first career starts. Oh, my God. Pete Banaszak, Clem Daniels, Mark Van Egan. I mean, the list of Raider running backs that have been in this organization who are pretty good. Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson. I mean, this guy's coming in here, and at least he popped. He popped. People saw him play and said, I'm good with this. I'm okay with this. I think this guy can play. So I'm all in on Zeus. I don't like having 2 backs on the field at the same time. I do not like a fullback. When we put a fullback in, we tell the world in the upper deck that we're going to run the ball up the middle. We don't need that anymore. Let's get rid of that around here. I don't need 2 backs. I need 1 back. I need a back who can run 30 times a game for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's greatness to me. If Zeus can come in and get 19 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown, and Brock Bowers has 2 touchdowns and Devontae has 1, thank you, Zamir White, Zeus. You did your job for me. So I think when we look at this camp situation that's coming here, this is going to be a nice battle. It's what Coach Antonio Pierce has preached about, having a team defined by its toughness and grit. That while employing a competent passing game is a must. Football is a violent game and meant to be played that way. And as Ed Graney wrote, that is music to Zamir White's ears. This is a tough SOB. This is a young man who is hard to tackle. This is a guy that lifts weights, presses dumbbells, and is in tremendous shape. He needs to be the workhorse back of the Raiders, and he needs to have a big year. I don't need a big year 2-3 years from now. I'm all in this year. I'm fighting off the Charger fans who think they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm fighting off the Donkey fans who think they have the greatest coach of all time. I'm fighting everybody. I'm in a war every day on Twitter with people who are attacking the Raider Nation. I don't need to develop anybody. There's no more development around here. We've been waiting in Las Vegas and back to Oakland for 20 years to go win playoff games and get to the Super Bowl. The time is now. There's no time to wait. I'm not into developing. I'm not a coach. I'm a sports talk radio host. I live week to week, game to game, show to show. I need content. So if you want to develop a guy, go ahead, go to the lab and develop the guy. I want to talk about the guy 1 day a week, 1 day a week, playing 20 minutes a week. If you add up offense, defense, special teams, I want to see those players peaking going into the Charger game in Los Angeles. This preseason is monumental that the players play in the preseason. They get all juiced up and lubed up and they're ready to play. And they've been hit and they've been tackled and they've been pushed to the ground. And yes, they have some bumps and bruises. They're ready to play football. This isn't flag football. We have Zamir White. He's an advantage to this organization. He's a young man on a rookie contract. He proved himself last year. He's not Josh Jacobs. He's going to have to prove that. But let's see what he can do. So thanks to Ed Graney for writing this good column. Vinny wrote about the cornerbacks ready for year 2. And we're going to see what happens with the cornerback position here. My level of concern at the cornerback position is not high, but it's concerning because Jack Jones, I know, can play. He flashes. Now he's got to play a 17-game season with the Raiders. Okay, he's got to play. Okay, he's made a lot of plays. He's really good. He's got to stay healthy and play. Nate Hobbs is a very good player. I need Nate Hobbs to become a Pro Bowler. Am I the only one on radio who says this? Am I the only one who has the vision and the x-ray goggles to see this? I need Nate Hobbs to play like a Pro Bowler. I've been in this organization for a quarter century. I know Mike Haynes. I know Lester Hayes. I know the cornerbacks who have played like Eric Allen, my partner on the pre and post game. I need him to play like Eric Allen. Okay, I need Nate Hobbs to step up his game so we don't have to look to season ticket holders for another cornerback. We're looking for a cornerback every year. You want to go back and take a look at some of the players that we've drafted? Garyon Connolly? I mean, look at some of the guys that we've had here in the first round. You're going back to the cornerback position. We need someone who's going to stick here. If it's Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs and they stay healthy, and Nate Hobbs hasn't stayed healthy, if he can stay healthy, those are two guys. And then Jacorian Bennett's going to have to play at a high level. So we're going to talk to Bill Williamson coming up here exactly about what the Raiders can do here after June 1st, where fortunately Jimmy Garoppolo gave us a little bit of extra money and we can go out and do some shopping and to do that. And also Case Kiefer wrote a good column on the Raiders to rely on young tight ends, expected to run a lot of 12 personnel. And we're all aware of that. And they're going to run some 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets with Big Mike, as Coach Antonio Pierce says, and Brock Bowers. And these guys are going to have to play, and they're going to have to be ready to go. One of the big things that we're going to be talking about throughout the preseason is keeping Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers fresh, right? They're young players. They're still young. They're not used to the NFL and the NFL OTAs and the NFL training camp. They're not. One played at Notre Dame, one played at Georgia. Those are 2 professional college organizations, but they're still young. They got to hit the ground running and raring to go. Can you imagine first series in LA against the Chargers? Raider fans are on their feet. Whoever's under center at quarterback, I'm not going to take the bait. Whoever's under center. And we open up the first series in LA against Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Devontae Adams is out left. Michael Mayer's at the left tight end. Brock Bowers is at the right tight end. Jacoby Myers is in the slot. And Trey Tucker's out to the right, ready to run a go route. How about that? And Zamir White, who is just a freak. Okay, we're going to line up with that, with 4 offensive linemen right now that we know are locks to be starters, and we're going to open up with that on the road in LA, and what's going to feel like a home game. How good is this 12 personnel going to be to confuse the Chargers in Baltimore in week 1 and 2, where both the Chargers and Baltimore say, oh my God, did you see the Raider formations in the first half? We need to make adjustments. Brock Bowers was in motion. Devontae was in motion. They handed the ball off to Brock Bowers. They threw 2 bombs in the first half to Trey Tucker to stretch the field. And we're sitting here at halftime, and Devontae Adams has 7 receptions for 110 yards and a touchdown, and it's not even the third quarter. Luke Getsy in this offense has got to be ready for prime time. Got to get going. The only way you're going to get going is in the preseason. We're going to have to show them a little. Not going to show them a lot. We're not going to show them all our trick plays and all that, but we got to get these guys going. And the only way they're going to get going is now in Henderson. And remember, the T-shirt. Someone's going to print out the T-shirt and make a lot of money. Run the plays that you ran in Henderson. It's one of my classic lines that I own. Run the plays like you ran them in Henderson. You run those plays every day in the hot summer sun of Henderson and in the beautiful cooling air of Costa Mesa and the Newport Beach breeze. Run the plays, run them over and over and over again. We'll go look at them on film. We'll go to the team meeting. We'll have a nice smoothie. We'll have a nice dinner, and we'll look at the film. But let's run those plays and get going. So what do you want to do today? I just gave you 20 minutes, balls out. What do you got for me? What do you got for me on Zamir White? What do you got for me on the running game? What is a good year for you in regards to statistics for a running back? Because Josh Jacobs is pretty good. Josh Jacobs is a really good player. And so was Derek Carr. Derek Carr was a hell of a quarterback. He didn't win a playoff game. Josh Jacobs, a hell of a running back. He didn't win a playoff game. We got Brock Bowers coming in here. All this guy did was win games, win championships at the college level. It's time to go win. And the only way they're going to be able to win is by running the ball effectively to set up 12 personnel and play action so this offense can be electric as we get going. 702-365-9200 as we open up the show today. A couple other topics I want to get to. One of our newsmen, Dana Wagner, will join us from News 3, likes to talk baseball. He was in my backyard. We had a good topic I'm going to hold off on until Dana Wagner joins us at the top of the hour on baseball. If you're a baseball fan, and you have to be baseball. Didn't you play Little League? Didn't you play? Don't your kids play Little League? Your nieces, nephews? Your little nieces, they play T-ball, right? We talk baseball on the show. A Met player just got cut for throwing his glove into the stands. I have a lot to say on that. And then another topic that I talked about last night, and I want to talk about again, is the lack of respect in the NBA for the officials. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I'm close to turning off the NBA. I can't stand this Luka Doncic. Every time he gets the ball or plays defense, he cries to the refs. I can't take it anymore. I can't. I mean, there's things I can take in life. I wake up every day to trade the stock market at 6:20 in the morning. Stocks go up, stocks go down. The market was down huge today at the open. I can handle it. I can no longer handle Luka Doncic yelling at the officials every single second of every game. I can't take it anymore. I can't watch the game. So that's something that's driving me a little bit nuts. I want to dive into on that. And then the last thing that I think is really important, we mentioned Bill Walton this week. We spent a lot of time on Bill Walton. I'm still getting people in the chat and people tweeting about Bill Walton and the impact that I've had, that he had. I got a lot of stories about Bill Walton and what Bill Walton meant to broadcasters and all of that. And then the wide receiver market, which is another massive topic for me today. Jalen Waddle just got a contract, and I believe he is the newest, highest overpaid player that I've seen in the league. And I'm always careful because I know players listen to the show. I've had them come up to me and say they listen to the show. No doubt about it. Jalen Waddle, $84.7 million. Have we lost our mind? Jalen Waddle, $84 million. What is going on out here? That's a 3-year, $84 million extension. $76 million guaranteed. That's making $28.25 a year. That's more than Davante Adams. He's the 4th highest in the NFL when it comes to wide receivers now, with the guaranteed money behind A.J. Brown and St. Brown of Detroit. I don't think St. Brown of Detroit is worth more than Davante Adams. And then Tyreek Hill is looking for some new money here. Oh, my God, what would Cliff Branch be worth today? What would Cliff Branch be worth going into his first contract? Man, I think the Nico Collins, the wide receiver money just exploded. These running backs can't get paid. They can't get paid. But there's some position groups and these wide receivers. Jalen Waddle, he's not Tyreek Hill. He's getting $84.75 million. What the hell are they going to give Tyreek Hill, who's due for some new money here? An incredible topic I want to get into. 702-365-9200 as Thor starts us off. My neighbor in nearby Summerlin. How are you, Thor? Good, buddy.
Football. I love the way Zamir runs. He runs hard. He's powerful. the ball. To me, I know you said you don't like the fullback, and to me, there's nothing more powerful than when you need a yard and you tell the other team, we running right behind this dude, stop us, and they can't stop you. So I want to see a lot of power football, a lot of power running. To me, it doesn't necessarily matter the yardage as much as touchdowns. Like you said, converting third downs, keeping drives alive, keeping your defense fresh because they're off the field. You're able to control the clock more. All of that. I mean, obviously, I need to see a good, solid average per carry. And I think that's where we're going. I really believe that's where we're going with this group, and I hope so, because that's what I like. I like to run the ball, play defense, let the team know what you're doing, and still do it to them and win games. Let's go, baby.
Thanks a lot, Thor. Listen, I'd love to run the football down the throat of everybody else. I think Antonio Pierce wants to do that. I really do. I think Antonio Pierce wants to win the line of scrimmage and run the ball really hard up the middle and move the chains that way. But that's not the way the sport is played anymore. We have to beat Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. We have to go up against Sean Payton, who's a video game operator, formerly with Drew Brees. I want to control the ball too. We did a pretty good job in Kansas City, beating Kansas City with defense, ball control. But in the AFC West in 2024, you can ball control it and run it all you want, but you're going to get in shootouts. And this team, I think, is capable to get into shootouts. I just don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I got some wise ass on my live feed here, streams saying that. He says, gives names of players that need to play like Hall of Famers but won't give opinion on a quarterback. Yeah, I'm not going to give an opinion on a quarterback now because it's May. It's not July. It's not August. I'll be calling the games preseason on the radio. I'll have an opinion at the end of the preseason on who won the quarterback job. I'll have a really strong opinion on who won the job because the Raiders will tell me who won the job, and then I'll either agree with it or disagree with it and give you my opinion on it. But I don't know what's going to happen. As I said here in the monologue, I believe that Zamir White is going to win it if he stays healthy in camp. He's our featured number one running back. He's going to get the ball. He's going to get the ball, and he's going to get the ball a lot. But we're going to be sitting at 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6, and we got Brock Bowers now. Brock Bowers has changed everything. Greg Olsen just said it on a radio show earlier today. He dropped to the Raiders. The Raiders weren't aware he was going to drop that far. Once he dropped to the Raiders pounced on Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers has got to be one of the most important draft picks in the last 30 years in Raiders history because, number one, he dropped to the Raiders. Raiders didn't have to overextend and go trade up for him. Very important. Raiders traded up for Michael Mayer. I agree with that. They moved up in the second round to get him. I'm all for that. Brock Bowers fell to the Raiders at number 13. Number 2, he's the most established tight end to ever play in the history of the sport in college. No debate. Better than all of them. And he can do things behind the line of scrimmage that we haven't seen since really Hunter Renfrow at the line of scrimmage when Hunter had his big year here. I think that Brock Bowers can give us short-yarded pickups the way a great running back could like Josh Jacobs. I'm a big believer now, man. I haven't seen him play yet other than, watching what we're seeing at OTAs. I believe Brock Bowers behind the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage, and on short routes can change the way we watch Raider football. It could be that impactful. So the running game is very important, Thor. I agree with you. But the way I look at this now, Brock Bowers, he added something that I didn't expect. I never thought that Brock Bowers would be available to this team. Now he's here, and he's got to be great. He's got to be great in year one. And if he is, the Raiders have more than a puncher's chance to make the playoffs. 702-365-9200. That is the monologue as we're brought to you by Remy Martin, Team Up for Excellence. Remy Martin's got a lot going on. Pool season. It's pool party season. Get on out there and get a Remy Martin cocktail. And the Cointreau that they put into their margarita makes it the best margarita in the world. Remy Martin, Team Up for Excellence. About 15 minutes, Bill Williamson will join us on where the Raiders can maybe upgrade still in the offseason. JT, this is Raider Nation Radio. Good. Levels good. Everything good? Yeah, nice. All right. All right. What else we want to talk about? Yeah, I think this Bowers thing is just a different deal now. Bowers changes everything. Bowers in short yardage is, I think, better than Renfro in short yardage. I loved Renfro in short yardage, man. I loved him. And they just didn't throw it to him. You know, I don't care what you think. He got in the doghouse or not, McDaniels or not. We didn't use Hunter Renfro on 3rd and short, where I thought he was automatic. And now Bowers is much better on paper than Hunter Renfro on 3rd down. He's got to be a short yardage guy along with Zeus. Be right back.
Okay, so they came out with their earnings yesterday.
Where's that Taylor Swift show?
Cigarette?
Is it live?
Not there.
Yeah, I got a new ice machine with these. We bought an ice machine at the house, man. It's unbelievable. It's got these small ice cubes. You know, need a little caffeine, a little Dr. Pepper today, right? My wife is in the other room watching Taylor Swift live in Madrid. So she's a Swiftie, man. You know me. I'm not a Swiftie. Here's the phone number, everybody. I put in the chat. Be nice if someone from this chat platform called the show. And you can tell Bobby that you're calling from the YouTube chat. If you can't call, we understand. Curse on the radio. I'm allowed to on YouTube. I don't like to curse. I like that. I like that a lot. That's an interesting scenario with Jack Jones, JT, back with you. Brought to you by Tequila Commissario. If you're watching on our live stream, I have the Tequila Commissario hat on and the ultra premium tequila. The Ferrari of tequila is proud partner of our show, Tequila Commissario. This team needs to have some swag because the coach has swag. So you can't have a coach like Antonio Pierce who's walking around straight out of Compton with swag, incredible swag. You got to have some players that have that too. So Jack Jones is one of them. So he's going to walk the walk. Now, is he going to get beat? Is he going to get burned? Is he going to have it every single play? Probably not, but he's going to make plays. And when he does make a great play, he's going to let you know it. And if he gets burned on a play, he'll own it. That's who he is. But there's a lot of players on this team that I don't know what their swag is. Divine Diablo, Malcolm Kuntz. You know, I don't know them well. These are not guys I have in my backyard. I don't know what their swag is like, but I love the way they play. I think Nate Hobbs has some swag. I don't even know how you describe Mad Max Crosby. I mean, he's the definition of swag. Guy doesn't take a second off of anything he does in life. But Jack Jones is going to be a very important player going forward here because I care more about his durability. You know, he's not a big guy. He's not. He is not a big guy. Not that he's weak. He's strong, and he's a great athlete, but he's not a big guy. He's going to have to be durable, and I hope he plays the whole year. Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman Isaiah misdemeanor warrants were filed against him according to court documents. The police department received the report that 2 dogs were being left on the back porch of a home being rented by him. Officers and animal control found a gray and white pit bull and a black Rottweiler on a screened-in back porch with no access to food and water. I'm not here to judge people. This organization had Henry Ruggs, who was, by all accounts, a great kid. And what happened in the tragedy that killed Tina Tintor and what happened in that situation was one of the worst, if not the worst tragedy that I've ever seen. So when I don't take shots at other teams for their players. I think the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Jaguars, the Lions all have great people. And then there are isolated incidences where players do something terrible. It goes to law. It goes to a judge, and they have to figure it out, and they have to pay the price here. Well, what's going on with Kansas City lately with Rashid Rice and this story here today, I got buddies who are on the radio in Kansas City. I'll leave their names off this show. And they have told me, wow, every day the content and what's going on with this team. They happen to be the best team in all of football. That is a headline that just broke. We have the NBA. The Boston Celtics have advanced. Boston is just waiting for the winner tonight. If the Mavericks win at the Wolves, I wanted to see the Wolves advance. I think the Wolves are going to be a better team in regards to a matchup against Boston. But as we're looking now, it clearly looks like at this point in time, it's going to be the Mavericks. They'll have an opportunity to second. He's one of many. Stephen A. Smith actually apologized on this air and said that I was very hard on Kyrie Irving. I don't think I owe him an apology. I just thought he was an idiot and a knucklehead and a bad guy. But now he's playing much better, and it seems like all the analysts are coming here trying to give Kyrie his flowers. Here's Barkley.
You got to take some responsibility. I think he's grown up. I think he's matured. Stephen A. and other people criticized him, and he rightly deserved it. You can't go out there being anti-Semitic, and you can do the accent thing. That's your own thing. But he deserved the criticism he got. He deserved the suspension he got. But as a basketball player, I think he's really grown up. I thought after game 1, that was.
Yeah, he has grown up. Kyrie Irving is probably the most changed athlete I've seen in a couple of years now. He's done an unbelievable job at changing his ways and now leading that team. He's done a fantastic job. Porzingis is supposed to be ready for the finals here. The added time off should have him ready to go, at least by game 2 going forward. So the OTAs are underway. A lot of people are just hoping that players are healthy through OTAs and what's going to happen along the way here. The contract today for Jalen Waddle resets the bar at the wide receiver position. Tyreek Hill has been trying to get a new deal since 2023. How will Tyreek Hill handle that scenario going forward, and what will happen here? And also at Pro Football Talk, Miles Simmons writes, the Raiders feel Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew are bringing out the best of each other. I read this column before the show, and it's pretty interesting about these two guys. So far, they're getting along great. They should get along great. Both of these young quarterbacks are trying to win. With Minshew, Minshew's the type of guy who gets respect out of everyone in every organization. Gardner Minshew was loved in Philadelphia, Jacksonville, and Indy. Not liked, loved. And Aiden O'Connell seems to get a lot of respect from two of the most important people in the Raider organization, the head coach, Antonio Pierce, and the wide receiver, and Davante Adams. I don't know what everybody else thinks of him, but if Antonio Pierce is giving him the keys to the car to start off this offseason and be the starting quarterback, and Davante's good with him, I think that's going to be really important going forward. 702-365-9200 as we continue. A lot of other news around the NFL with this could be our last year of OTAs before they and the players union want to go in front of the owners and talk about an expanded, longer training camp and less work in the offseason. I don't know. I've been doing my homework on this. I've asked a lot of people about it. It's one of the few topics that I'm a work in progress on it, because I don't think if we don't have OTAs and we don't have the players on the field during OTAs, I'm talking as soon as next year, content providers like ourselves aren't going to have much because we're not going to be in the classroom. We need to see the players. We need to see them out there. But as a business model, it could be beneficial to the owners, and it could be beneficial to the players along the way. The players along the way that would have more time off and more time to ramp up. It wouldn't be good for the dads and the parents and the moms and the coaches who are going to have less of an off season when their kids are out of school in the summertime. Big topic that's being debated all over every NFL platform that's out there. And hockey, we don't have the Golden Knights deep in the playoffs. How cool would it have been to go to a hockey game tonight in Vegas with the Golden Knights in the Western Conference Finals? What a battle it's been between Edmonton and Dallas. And on the other side, the Rangers really in a war against Florida there. Rangers are lucky they're not down 3-1. So those are some of the topics we're talking about. Also, Dana Wagner at the top of the hour as I'll dive into baseball. And I'll tease ahead on that topic. Who's the greatest baseball player you've ever seen live? Let that sink in for about 15 minutes. If you want to jump into the chat, you can. Who's the greatest baseball player you've ever seen live in attendance? I'm going to talk about that with Dana Wagner from News 3 LV at the top of the hour. This is Raider Nation Radio. Yep. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm going to be jumping here in a minute because we got a couple of guests, the audio like we do in studio. So you want to hang in there for a little bit, you can. I'm probably going to dump out at the top of the hour here. What else we got here? Barry Bonds, Griffey, Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn's a good one, man. I saw Tony Gwynn play a lot. He was great. Section 105 wants to help with me on the YouTube broadcast. You can go ahead and help and leave a comment. I think we got the thing. We're up and live. I'm at home today. Again, the audio doesn't connect through the studio when I'm at home, but it does through the studio. But I appreciate your comments if you'd like to leave a few. And you can DM me at Twitter at JT the Brick. Come on in for that. Willie Mays. Dan Smith saw Will Mays play live. What's the Raider app to stream the show on? Raider Luke, are you really asking that question? The Raiders have one app. It's called the Raiders, the official app of the team, the Raiders. That's where you stream the show. There's a radio icon in the upper right corner. Let me show it to you. Hold on. See this right here? This is the best app in all of radio. You see the radio right there? You click this on. And look at this. Look at that. All of a sudden, you click it on when you get the radio show. Hear it?
Live in concert.
Look at that.
Friday, September 20th, 8 p.m. M Resort Pool.
So if you want to listen to this interview with Bill Williamson, you just go on the Raiders app, Raiders mobile app, or 920. And remember, we also stream at lvsportsnetwork.com. That's what Fabian uses every day. So I'll try to keep you in the loop on this interview, but if you want to hear Bill's reaction, you're going to have to stream it. Yeah, I did see that app on the Bronx Zoo. Fabian, Tommy Lasada. My radio button never works, Adam. How's that? Clayton Kershaw is the best baseball player you've ever seen, huh, Glenn? It's interesting. I like the way Volpe's hitting. Yankees got a good one there. Okay. Mhm. That's Zamir White, and I like what he had to say on this as he's starting to talk more and more to the media. JT, back with you. Longest tenured Raider insider, Bill Williamson, kind enough to join me as he has a good column out, the players who may be on the bubble. All right, Bill, before we get to your column, I wanted to get your general opinion on what's happening about the potential to get rid of OTAs. It's being leaked out by the union now and have an expanded and longer training camp. Are you a fan of OTAs? If it goes away and they go to the classroom, is that a big deal to you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Williamson is our guest. So, Bill, from what you understand on some of the cap relief they're going to get on the Jimmy Garoppolo deal, what's coming up here in June? And you wrote a good column here about some of the players are on the bubble at SB Nation here, Silver and Black Pride. Let's go through a couple of players who could be on the bubble and start at the running back position, because before you came on, I was talking about Zamir White. I like his size, his strength, where he came from out of Georgia, the big games he played in. He's running back number one, but then you mentioned Amir Abdullah and the depth of that running back room. Let's start there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you too. They took him, and from all thoughts, he could do a lot of things, especially with the way special teams is going to look here. So let's go to the secondary and the cornerback position, because with Epps and Merrick, they get another year to be that tandem back there. And I think they're pretty good. It's not an elite safety group, but the cornerback position, let's jump into Jacorian Bennett and what you've heard and from him getting a big chance last year to start, then losing out on that role. I don't know much about his offseason, but there's definitely going to be a spotlight on him. What are you hearing? Hmm? Hmm? Bill Williamson is our guest, silverandblackpride.com. That brings us to Amari Burney, who, when they drafted him last year, I was really excited about him being kind of a hybrid player, really good athlete, and where he came from out of Florida. But then the Raiders go out and make a big decision at the linebacker position with Tommy Eichenberg, who from Ohio State played in bigger games and I think was more of a productive player than Burney was out of college at the same time. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but from everything I'm hearing about, Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, this is really good content. Bill Williamson, go check it out at silverandblackpride.com. I just retweeted it. He's the longest tenured Raider insider that I know, big part of our insider group here. And finally, Byron Young. I would love to ask Nick Saban what he thinks about this player. And he was taken in the third round, and Dave Ziegler drafted him. And I like Dave. I thought Dave made some good picks while I was with the Raiders a short period of time. But this is Tom Telesco's team now. I think Tom has a pretty good track record when it comes to taking players at this type of position. I'm fascinated on what it's going to take for him to have that moment, or does he have one foot out the door? Because with Christian Wilkins and the depth that we see here at defensive tackle, there's just going to be no room for him. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mhm. Hey, Bill, last one. You said you has to have a good camp with a number of players. What do you consider a good camp in 2024 compared to 2004, 1984? Like camp now, I've been doing this a long time, and it's weird to me. I know how good camp can be, but the players have less padded practices, and they don't play a lot in preseason. I'm hoping that they play more in preseason this year to get off to a good start at LA and at Baltimore. Are you encouraged to think that's going to happen? Or do you think it's just going to be another traditional, not just Raiders, NFL camp overall? Well, they'll practice hard on some days. Other days they won't. Other days they'll play hard and get ready for a preseason game. And other times they'll shut people down. What do you expect a good camp to be? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Great content. Really enjoyed that. Thanks for helping out today. Appreciate you. You got Bill Williamson as he looks at a couple of players that are on the bubble already. You better believe there's a couple of players on the bubble. That's what camp's all about. That's what OTAs is about, taking a look at these guys and saying, we don't have room for you. We drafted you, you're undrafted, or we got a player that is going to push you. And if you don't play better, we got an undrafted guy who cost us no money, and we're going to play him instead of you. This is a business, man. Antonio Pierce is not screwing around. He's going to take the best players with Tom Telesco. They're going to choose on the best players that can have an impact on the Raiders. That's the way it does. But other organizations will give a young player who's under contract for a long period of time, a rookie player, more time to develop. Other teams want to bring in a veteran and win now. It's going to be very interesting to see what the Raiders do at the cornerback position here after June 1st. 1 hour up. I want to thank everybody on our YouTube live stream. And I tell you, I love this YouTube. JT the Brick YT, thanks for jumping in with us. Dana Wagner from News 3 next. All right, thanks, everyone. I appreciate it. I believe I'm going to maybe do some live streaming tonight. Maybe tonight, get back to my Thursday night live stream. If we do that, I'll put it out. We'll put it out on the subscription platform here at YouTube. Maybe you can jump in for that. So what's going on, Fabian? The Raiders app, is it just not streaming? What's going on before I sign off here? What should I be aware of? Ice Machine. I didn't get ice. It's on the radio side. So what are you saying? 920 is not, is it on 920 or is it on the Raiders? Cool. Okay. Thanks for the update. I'll let Q know. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Appreciate you being here on the YouTube stream.